What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to another Black Desert video. So today I want to talk about how I make silver every month, and usually I do these maybe once every month or two, just because sometimes things change and sometimes things don't. But I usually try to do about 150 billion silver a week, playing, pretty casually. I don't go super hard on grinding, but I'll give you a rundown of what I do, and my silver per month will probably be different from other people's depending on your life skill levels, gear, and how much time you play. But just a quick idea of some things you could do and maybe start preparing for in the future. And some of these are very beginner friendly as well. So let's go down with that. Let's talk about what I save for. Every week I try to do at least 10 taps for Deck Sovereign, which is about 117, a little bit more silver, or a billion silver. And after that I do my weekly clicks of the Shining Stone, which is about 12 bill every 5 days for 4 clicks. Yeah, we're at 104 now. That doesn't feel good. And then also Adana armor clicks for Oct. That one is about 27 bill, and I actually have a notepad showing you like this is how much things cost. So like every 10 attempts is 117 bill, and then Adana armors from Sept to Oct 27, and then Alch Stones is another 12 plus everything else I do. So yeah, that's where all my silver goes every week. And let's start off with what I do first. Okay, so to get the Adania armor stones, you got to do the weekly boss, and right now I can do Tenebrum. All I need is my offhand to go to deck, and then I could do Capris, hoping for the best every week. And so I do that. After that I do the Ataraxian dungeons, and the rewards for these aren't really the best. It's just kind of fun to do. Like, this game has very limited group content, so when I get to do these with my friends, guildies, and so on, it's always pretty fun. We usually blast through all 5 of these in under an hour. So, I mean, it's more about the experience than the Cronstones, but this one, if everyone knows what they're doing, it's just a bunch of Cronstones, materials, usually a couple billion for an under hour. It's like equivalent of a high-end grind spot for an hour. And then this is going down every week, because the only one I do is basically the Zephyros grind, which is you just get the end time thingies and then some Han crystals, which, looking at the prices of them now, they kind of go down. So back when they were 30 mil each, they were worth a lot more. Heralds sell, if you sell a full stack of them, they'll sell maybe once every week or two. So that's like, here, a free billion. It's not great. And then you get a bunch of other stuff that you just sell to the vendor. So there's that. Next, we also do Pit of the Undying. For all of you who don't know what that is, you just type Pit of the Undying. You do 5 different bosses, or there's 5 different tiers, like Pry all the way to Pen. It takes about, I think, a couple of weeks to get to the Pen one, and then you get the Insignia, which allows you to basically, do the higher tiers and see how much more rewards you can get. So what does that do? It gives you Seal of the Undying. At the highest level, it's about 500 Cronstones a week, sometimes 650 if you get the extra mini boss with it, but that's kind of rare. So I just picked the Cronstones, easy 600 or like 500 at minimum a week, and that helps with the taps and everything. The best things to get from that, probably Crons, or if you're in the ocean life skilling, probably Crow Coins. Aside from that, everything is pretty irrelevant. Next, what I do is the Altar of Blood, and this thingy, if you've never done it, you get all the rewards for doing all the way up to whatever the highest tier you can. You get the first time clear rewards, which is a bunch of fail stacks, gold bars. It's really nice. And then every week, I just try to do all of these. Once you get to the abyssal ones, as far as I know, these are the same rewards according to the weekly clear reward. These are the exact same. So first one is significantly easier than the second one, but just do the highest tier you can, and just every week after that, once you've already cleared it. So yeah, just do those, and then you know, at minimum, there's a bunch of gold bars and nice stuff. So yeah, recommend doing the highest tier you can every week. Next we do, let's see, what else am I talking about? Oh yeah, so we do solo and party shrines. This one is a little bit more on the higher end of gear, so kind of mid to end game. So solo ones, if you can do Calamity 8 to 10, I would say those are a little bit easier than what, like 7, and they also give better rewards. But you just look at the required AP on the side over here and to see like what you can. I believe 330 or C8 is the minimum, but even if you're under, I would start learning the mechanics for the other bosses and just do them to get the rewards. I believe they buffed them as well with the last patch, so it's definitely worth doing. Yeah, so solo bosses, what I would recommend, so you know how you have the aura thing, right? Put the right aura into the color boss that you were doing, and a lot of people just have no idea that exists. Now you do. So for beginners, what I would recommend, Sangoon is a very easy one. For, let's talk about 1 through 7. Like, this is where the aura one matters. Easiest ones to learn, Sangoon for green. For blue, I would say Bamboo and Bari are probably the easier of the 3. This one, I wouldn't say it's hard. It's just more mechanically intense. Then for red, I would say 1 through 7, Golden Pig King is easier, and then the other 2 are, you know, kind of intense. Like, I've done 10 for everything else, but for Calamity 8 to 10, where this one gets into just gear checks in general, Sangoon pretty easy. Surprisingly, Duoxini 8, 9, and 10 are easier than 7 because it has less mechanics and it's more just a DPS check. But 1 to 7, you actually have to, you know, play the game. Blue, we only have 1 blue one so far. In the future, we'll probably get the other 2. And then as for red, we have all 3. If you're getting into 8 to 10, I would recommend Apex, because this one surprisingly is more just an iframe check. Don't get hit, do damage. This one is just iframe, but Apex gives more rewards. Duoxini gives the most rewards in the red tier, but has the most mechanics. All right, so party shrines. If you do them, like, this is what I do. And, you know, if you want max rewards, it's better to do like a 9 of a higher tier than a 10 of a lower tier, if that makes sense. All right, so if you've never done them, or like you're new to doing them, the 5, you get to do 5 of them every week, right? The ones I would recommend are these 5: Bulgasil, Jigui, Uturi, Firebird, and Byung. So those are basically the 5 that most people do. You can find it on Party Finder as well. And generally, the easiest one to learn, probably Uturi, because that one's just a DPS check. Well, there's more mechanics to it, but with enough gear, you can just... it's really obvious. Bulgasil has a little bit more mechanics. And then, like, everyone gets their own furnace. It lights up and you'll know what to do. Jigui is an awareness check because there's a lot of red AoEs on the ground and so on. So, yeah, you have to kind of be aware of where you are, directionals, dots on the ground. Firebird has quite a few mechanics, surprisingly. And, so, like, this one, a little bit harder to learn. Byung is really just a mechanics check, because everyone has a separate color and you do your own thing. Prince and Blue Clad, this one is a bunch of puzzles. It's very hard to get people to want to do this. With a good group, you can. And then same with Prince. This one is just, you kind of have to be pretty geared to do it with the right group. And it's just, do you know your iframes? Do you know how to coordinate stuff? So aside from that, skip Blue Clad and Prince if you are just party finding it and everything. And that's what I'll talk about for solo and party shrines. All right, so things that I do daily is 1, Imperial Delivery. This one is, you know, so you look at your contribution point total, right? Then divide it by 2. That's how many turn-ins you can do. I generally only do the cooking one because that one is super profitable, whereas alchemy is a little bit less profitable, and, you know, like, you still have to use the stuff. So sometimes it's better to turn these into just like harmonies and use them yourself while you're grinding instead of, you know, making extras for the guru box, which is minimally profit. So Videolytics is a website you can use to just track how much everything would cost and then calculate your profits. It's affected by cooking mastery, cooking and alchemy mastery. So higher mastery equals more silver. Other than that, it's a flat number multiplied by mastery. What else do? I do a lot of gathering, surprisingly. And, you know, gathering is a good way to kind of source all of your sharps, especially if you're doing the alchemy stone clicks. It's about 2,400 for your alchemy stones every week. Or 12 billion equivalent. So if you can buy your sharps off the market, these thingies, if you could buy them for under 5 mil each, you should buy them, because that will be less than 12 billion from buying the materials off the vendor. And then after that, the other life skills I kind of do instead, mostly gathering, fishing when I'm busy for a majority of the day. I've been doing more cooking lately, and then processing, just because processing, I have a lot of materials, need to lower that number, and also close to G50. That's just kind of a fun thing. This week in particular, I've been doing training a little bit, just because I got the Voltarian, was leveling that one up. And also, one thing I'm going for in the future is what is that? The training lamp? The treasure item. So I have 3 of these out of 4. I've just been kind of buying tier 9s and then selling it and hoping for that 15% to go. So 3 out of 4 of these. And then the Lumen Trace thingy, the hardest piece for Imperial horses. I still need to find a better way to do that. Or do most people just buy a level 30 tier 8 male and female and then hope for the best and just repeat until you get it, then level up the Imperial horse and hope for the best? I think that's what you do. But yeah, that's something that, like, this treasure item is really just how much silver do you have in a way. So working on that one slowly. And farming got the huge change in the past few weeks where it takes longer to grow your crops, but the yield of everything is a lot higher. So that's also a good way to get your contribution points up as well, along with cooking, you know, gathering the byproducts, and literally every other life skill. So yeah, and then after that, the most amount of silver will always come from grinding, especially the more gear you have. One thing I've noticed when, in terms of endgame grinds, right? So you just tag these highest tier, and all of them, I guess. Hold on, let me see. Sort by AP. What I'd recommend for everyone who doesn't know where to grind, go to the Monster Zone tab, sort by AP. Where are you in AP? And then find that number. By default, it'll look like this one, where it shows your stats. What you really want to look at is your total stats. That includes your buffs, your crystals, you know, everything else that you have set up. And then you find the spot that you would go to in general. So yeah, Zephyros kind of going down in price or value, just because end times and heralds are kind of going down. Star's End might be, you know, the new #1 silver maker in, I would say, a couple weeks from now. And then Sakraya, surprisingly, Sakraya is like a very RNG specific. If you can get like a yellow or red orb consistently, you're making a lot more silver. But this one's just more RNG on how much silver you make, whereas Star's End is consistent, more or less. So yeah, it's one of those. Zephyros is always a calm one because it has an AFK phase in it. And so, like, of your hour, I would say about 8 or so-ish minutes are just downtime, which is very nice. I like that. But if you want most amount of silver, I'm pretty sure Star's End is probably going to be up there, competing with Zephyros. Sakraya is just, do you like RNG and a chill underwater grind spot, which I do. So yeah, in the future, I plan to make it another, like, best grind spots for silver video, but as of lately, nothing really has changed, so that comes in when something changes. But that's about it. Those are the things I do weekly, daily. Remember to roll your dice every day for all the people who just like click this button and save. You have like hundreds, if not thousands of dice. This literally does add up, and I don't know, eventually, every now and then, if you know how to roll your dice properly with the arcanas, and then you could land on like the high value ones, that literally does add up to multiple billions of silver as long as you're keeping up with it. So every time you see someone with like hundreds of dice just sitting there, literally just roll them and have a few extra billion silver. It's kind of nice, to be honest. And then every week we do rift bosses. This is a bunch of cronstones, like 100 per boss. You also get the aether thingies. What are they called? I have no idea, to be honest. Yeah, these thingies, those are for your alchemy stone clicks. And then, let's see. In terms of bosses, I do Garmoth 3 times a week. I sometimes do the morning light bosses when I can, Vel when I can. I heard Quint and Maraca got buffed recently to the point where it's actually making billions if you're getting higher on the reward damage scale, whatever they call it. Iridescents are very nice, always a nice 3 bill. Aside from that, heard it's very good to do right now. So field bosses, I just don't even do them. I should probably get into Rar again for hunting, just because I do need the other heart for my rifle, and also because they increased the price of the Rar heart now. It's like it's free 10 bill if you don't need it, and if you do need it, there you go. So yeah, I think this one is actually good now because they raised the price of the rare drop. So definitely recommend doing that one. Do all your rift bosses every week. Field bosses, kind of irrelevant still. Main bosses to do, Garmoth. Morning light bosses, Vel, Quint and Maraca, or at least just Quint at very minimum. And then that's about it. So, with that said, that's what I do every week. Hope you guys enjoyed the rundown. If you have any questions, happy to point you all in the right direction. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow for upcoming stuff. I'll see you guys later. Peace!